Hello everyone, greetings to you all. Myself Veeral Saxena, I am from team Orion Bits, and we have created this project and given the solution for Smart India Hackathon. We have created this project, and I'm very excited to actually showcase our project from our team Orion Bits. And I'll be showing and I'll be giving a quick overview and the whole process of what the actual problem statement is and what the solution which we are providing for that particular problem statement. I'm going to do that using this PPT, and I also have a prototype which I would like to show. And yeah, it's a pretty thorough prototype, and it's pretty much built. And I'll be explaining the whole problem and the whole solution which we are going to provide. So let's begin. I'm really excited about this. So basically what happens is that we have seen that whenever we talk about the spaces from like Ayurvedic spaces, like we are talking about some a herb, like remedies, like Ayurvedic remedies, like shampoos or tablets like ashwagandha or shilajit or any formulation of herbs, basically tablets which we have in in Ayurvedic field where herbs are used in quantities. What we see is that generally if we are talking about allopathic medicines, like if we are talking about paracetamol, or if we are talking about any antibiotic, basically anything which is in the allopathic space, what happens is that these medications are very well documented. These medications are not only these medications are very well documented. The raw material which is used to formulate these medications is very well documented. It's very well licensed. It's very well given a clear pathway. So we know it's very transparent. It's very easy to understand where it came from and what it consists of, and is it transparent or not. The root and the viability, it's very transparent. It's not the case. It's not the case with herbs. Suppose if you are using some Ayurvedic, suppose if you are using some Ayurvedic shampoo, it might contain it is going to contain some herbs in it. If we are talking about Ayurvedic medications, so they are going to contain herbs in it. What happens is that for consumers, for us who are going to consume it, for consumers, it's not very transparent. The whole pathway, the herb pathway is not transparent. Suppose if it contains an XYZ herb, so we don't know where it came from. We don't actually know how it changed hands. So we don't have a clear pathway. We don't have certifications for it. We don't actually know if it has been, we don't have, there is no reason for us to believe that it doesn't have any, if it's not having any adulterations in it, if it's the right, product, if it's of the viable quality. We don't have any clear pathway. We don't have transparency in it. We don't have the life cycle of the herb. And that is a big problem. That is a big problem not only for consumers, that is a big problem for authorities as well. What happens is that these herbs are very scarce because they are very potent, they are used in very limited quantity. They are not just, they are not grown like, like, they are not grown like mangoes. They're herbs. So they are very potent, they are created in very, they are scarcely created in limited quantities. So what happens is that sustainability is a very big factor in it as well. You don't want to over harvest a particular herb. You don't want to over harvest a particular herb such that we are not even able to harvest that product. We are not able to harvest that herb again. We don't want to endanger it. We don't want to disrupt the biodiversity of that particular place. So it's very important to know where that herb comes from, not only from consumer perspective, because that's going to create a transparency and encourage people to be more active. They're going to be more confident in buying it. It's also very important for authorities to know that is the herb which is being harvested, is it being harvested from a place where it is not disrupting biodiversity? Is it being harvested from legal places? Is it being harvested in such a way that it is sustainable over the long period? Or otherwise, is it not? So, what is the whole scenario? So, this is the whole thing. We need to have transparency from a consumer's perspective, and we need to see if the herb is being legally, we need to see if the herb is basically, if it is being harvested sustainably and it's not disrupting the biodiversity. That is from authorities perspective, and from consumer perspective we need transparency. We need transparency, and that is going to make us more confident in buying these medications, buying herbs, because they have very potent effect, and it's very natural. It's very much required to have an infrastructure which can provide this. So that is the whole concept of the problem, the behind this problem statement. So let's begin with the PPT which our team has created here. Our team Orion Bits have created here. So let's start. Yeah. So basically, what it is that a blockchain-powered digital passport for Ayurvedic herbs. Now, why is the blockchain being used in this case? Now the thing is that we are going to use Hyperledger Fabric. What we are going to do is that we are going to create an NFT. We are going to write smart contract in Solidity, and we have already done it actually. And what we are going to create a decentralized application. So there's going to be it's a very complex it's a very complex application. So it is going to have multiple interfaces. An interface for consumers, they are going to have a QR code which they can scan, and scanning this QR code, they'll be able to see the life cycle of the herb. So if the consumer is able to see the whole life cycle of the herb after scanning the QR code, which will be present on top of the formulation in which that herb was used, that will tell them about the whole life cycle of the herb, from how it changed hands, from where it was harvested, the location, the the time and the conditions when it was harvested, and the whole procedure and the whole changing of hands, and along with the lab test reports which is going to be available on that. What decentralizing this whole process, this whole life cycle does is that it becomes immutable. Now, immutability is a good thing, it's a bad thing. If it's in this case, it's a very good thing. We don't want corruption. We don't want corruption to take place in this case, because when money is involved, there's always some way to do it. But still, so we are going to create a decentralized application using decentralized application. Basically, the whole concept is that we are going to track from the point where the herb is harvested by the farmer, by the collector, from the point the herb is harvested by the farmer and the collector to the point it reaches the consumer. The consumer should be able to scan the QR code and be able to see the whole life cycle. That's one. That's very important. The authorities should be able to tell if the herb was, and should be able to make it easier for them to tell if the herbs are being sustainably harvested without hindering the biodiversity. That is for authorities. And from a business perspective as well, the thing is that if someone is doing if someone is sustainably harvesting these herbs, they should be incentivized. They absolutely should be incentivized. If the product is very certified, there are two products. They both are the same product, A and B. They both are the same product, but one is certified, one is not. So if one was sustainably sourced, if one is organic and the other one is not, even though the constituents, the macro and micronutrients in it are same, it makes sense to premiumly price the product which has been given certification and which is sustainably sourced, because it followed sustainable practices. There was an extra effort which has went into creation and harvesting of that. So that is for respecting the effort, and that is also very important. That is one perspective, to help the collector and the farmer, to help the consumer, to help the authorities, and also a business perspective. Scanning these QR codes, we can analyze the whole data, because data is gold nowadays, of course. So scanning this whole data, we can actually see what the demand is, or what the people are demanding more. We can analyze the whole situation, like what is being scanned more, basically that. So this is the whole process. This is what we are actually putting up as a solution. We have created a prototype for it as well. I'll be showing that in the later half of the video. Yeah, so let's begin with the PPT which we have created. Firstly, okay, yeah, the problem with today's Ayurvedic herb supply chain is that inconsistent quality. Absolutely, herbs, they might have inconsistent quality, and of course we might not know it, because sometimes they are lab tested, sometimes they are not. They are regulated, they are not regulated. They might be sustainably sourced, they might not be sustainably sourced. So these are the problems. It may be unsustainably sourced. Basically, if you over harvest a particular product, if you over harvest a particular herb, it becomes very hard for it to grow again. It hinders the biodiversity, and that's not good. That's not good at all from long-term perspective, because you don't just want it in the present, you also want it so that it is also present in the future as well, and that is very important. No provenance. Basically, we don't know the origin, where this herb originated from. it's very much important, right? It's very much important. If we are putting something in our body, it is very essential. If you are putting something in our body which is going to affect us internally, if it is going to affect us, it's very important, it's very paramount to know from where it came from. If it is having consistent quality. But that's why it is important to have a very transparent and not an opaque and inefficient system. We need to have a very transparent system. It will inspire confidence in consumers. How we fix it? So verified quality using lab test. So we are going to upload the lab test data on the blockchain as well. So the whole process is going to be done. I'll explain this in this PPT only. This is just the point. These are just the points. Provenance guarantee, basically geotagging. Knowing from where it has originated. Now that is also how it's going to be done. I'll also be telling that. Sustainably harvesting it, and transparent and efficient. Okay, basically we are going to create a digital ledger, and we are going to, at the end, when the formulation has been done using these herbs, we are going to create a QR code. So after scanning this QR code, the consumer should be able to tell what the life cycle is. They will be able to tell what the life cycle is, and they'll be able to see the whole pathway of that herb. So they'll be able to monitor it. They'll be able to see. That is going to make the whole process very transparent, and that is what we want. That is our goal. Let's see. The farmer, the collector workflow. So of course, herb is going to be harvested. So how is it going to be? How is the whole procedure going to work? How is the whole procedure? It's very simple to say that we should know that where the herb has originated from. We should know where it is coming from. But how is it going to work? So let's see. Yeah. So in the starting, we are basically we are having a decentralized mobile application. We are having a decentralized mobile application which is offline capable, by the way. It is offline capable. We are going to use SMS gateway to send some initial very important information which is going to be stored in an mutable as a mutable data type. And after verification, it will be moved to immutable type in the blockchain. So we all know that if it, whenever it is being harvesting, it's not possible that it's not always necessary that the network is going to be available. It is possible that the network is not available. In that case, the mobile application, the decentralized mobile application, is offline capable using SMS gateway. A new connection will be created. Automatically, the location will be fetched by an IoT device. We are, by the way, also creating an IoT device using Raspberry Pi and the GPS module, which I already have. I also used it for my drone in APM 2.5 microcontroller, and we are going to be reusing that to create it. So, firstly, the person who's harvesting, the farmer, the collector, they're going to open our decentralized mobile application, which our team has created. They're going to be clicking on new collection. They're going to be creating a collection. The location will be automatically fetched. The longitude and the latitude will be automatically fetched in that application, and the collection event is going to be created. They're going to take the photo. Not necessary. The photo might or might not be uploaded. That's not the necessary part. That's not the necessary bit. From the SMS gateway, only the necessary information, which is the location, and which is the type of the herb and the quantity. These are the required information. The necessary information. The rest of it can be updated. It is necessary, but it can be updated later on, not at the time of harvesting. If the network is not available, otherwise it's very simple to do that. Okay. Handover of the custody. Basically, if the farmer is going to the collector is going to sell it to a company, so that whole procedure should also be on the chain. That whole procedure should also be on the chain because we are trying to because we are creating a life cycle. We are basically creating a life cycle. It should not be having any breaks in between. Where did the herb go in between? It shouldn't be like that. It should be from the origination to when it reaches the consumer, the whole package. That's what only then can it be transparent. If there is a link broken in between, it doesn't make sense to do anything. So that's why it is very paramount and necessary. Yeah. So payment. Yeah. Let's go ahead. Processor and lab stage. Basically, labs are going to be testing these herbs. Absolutely. Third parties and the companies which are going to be formulating it are going to be buying these herbs, and they'll be lab testing it and processing it, lab testing it. It's very important, very, very important. They should be, the lab test is only going to tell us if there is adulteration or not, if there are some pesticides or insecticides which are present in it, if there's some harmful chemicals in it, if there is some heavy metal presence in it, because heavy metal is also very important. It can cause many problems because heavy metals attached with hemoglobin in our blood. It's very paramount to check if these are not present because they are very aflatoxins. They are very bad for our human body. So lab test is going to be. Yeah. Sorry for that. So lab test is going to be very, very necessary, very, very paramount for that. And basically the whole lab test data is going to be uploaded on the blockchain. So it is going to be immutable. So once it has been certified, after the lab test the report has been published for that particular batch, it is going to be uploaded on the blockchain after being verified. Because once it's uploaded to blockchain, it's going to be immutable. That is the whole purpose for it being on the blockchain, and also to make it decentralized, so it is more transparent and it is, there's less chance of corruption. That's why the whole concept of decentralization comes in. Let's go ahead. And yeah, digital chain of custody transfer, batch arrival and system check-in, liability analysis, the off-chain process, of course. On-chain transaction creation, yep, after it has been lab tested, transaction will be created and it will be added to the life cycle. And whenever the consumer is at the end of the day, whenever the consumer at the end of the day is actually scanning the QR code, they'll be able to see the whole life cycle, including the lab test report. The lab test report will also be available in that life cycle, so they'll be able to see that as well. And that is very paramount, and that is very important as well. Now, of course, nobody is going to manually enter the lab tested report data. It is going to be in a particular format and FHIR based. So we are going to use OCR, optical character recognition by AI, and that is going to automatically put in the data. FHIR way, it's very important to give medical information in a standardized way. It's very important to give the information in a standardized way. So that is very paramount as well. Processing and packaging. Of course, now the end stage, we are coming to the end stage after it has been lab tested. Now, some company is going to formulate that hub into a particular product. The raw material is going to turn into the finished product. And yeah, at the end of the day, when the product and the hub has been lab tested, the QR code will be generated, and that QR code will basically contain everything about that batch information, about that particular batch, that whatever the batch is. What happens is that when we have this information, when we have this whole life cycle, it becomes very easy to recall. Recalling is also very easy. Suppose if there is a problem with a particular batch, that this particular herb has a particular problem, this problem was not caught before, there might be some problem because we need to always be ready for some exceptions. The thing is that we won't have any exceptions. The goal is to minimize the exceptions, but there might be some exceptions. So we need to always be ready for that. So that's why we are going to have this procedure. And let's move ahead. Yeah. So these are the qualities. These are the qualities which our applications will have. Basically, we have a decentralized application for storing the harvesting data. It's a decentralized mobile application which is going to be used by the harvester and the person, the farmer, the harvester, the collector, the person who's collecting. There's going to be a consumer portal for consumers to check the life cycle, everything using after scanning the QR code. Of course, the consumer can directly come to the website and log in and check it after entering the QR code number or something like that, or they can just directly scan the QR code and they'll be able to see the same thing. But they can come to the web portal, web application, and then see it. But they can just directly go to the web application using the QR code, and that is also very viable, and that is also very possible. So decentralized mobile application and a web application along with an IoT device. IoT device for what? IoT device specifically created for this purpose. For this purpose of actually collecting the geotagging data. That is very important. So IoT device created for that specific purpose. Yeah, pre-harvesting insights. We are living in time of artificial intelligence. We have information for everything, basically for everything. So pre-harvesting insights, how the soil is, how the weather is. That is very important, because what the weather is, what the environment is at the time of harvesting, that is also very crucial at the time of harvesting, and for sustainably and keeping biodiversity in mind, and then harvesting the product. Policy and cooperative support for collectors and farmers. Yep. Infrastructure optimization. Basically, it's just a creation of an infrastructure. So it's not just optimization, because there is no infrastructure which is present in this place right now. For any herb, if you see, most of the Ayurvedic products, hardly any products which are going to provide you with life cycle. No, nothing. So we need to have this standardized way of doing this. Economic empowerment, as I said, if something is if something has been sourced sustainably and it has been put more effort in, so it requires more effort, for a person who is actually harvesting these herbs from a place. It is less effort for them to just harvest it, sell it. It's more effort to actually do the whole procedure. It's a very easy procedure. So we have made this procedure very easy. The decentralized application is going to be very easy to operate. Very easy. Very minimal. Very easy to operate. So that is what we need: minimization of complexities. So it is very important. It is very important that the extra effort is actually appreciated, and that can be done using incentivizing a premium tag. We are putting a premium tag on this, and it can be incentivized for future. Can be incentivized. If you don't want, then don't. But it should be incentivized. So the extra effort should be appreciated in that way. And also, we're going to have the data. Some people are going to scan QR codes, so that data can be used for the purpose of actually seeing the demand, and that is also very important. Actually seeing the demand and putting our efforts in the direction where the demand is, where the demand is going, what is actually more required. So that can be analyzed using algorithms. So that is pretty simple as well. Thank you. That was the end of this PPT, and I'm still to show the prototype. I'm going to show the prototype now. Yep. So let's go and look ahead at our prototype, which our team has made. Yeah. Let's see. So this is the prototype. You might be wondering, like this, but we are having different portals in it. One portal will be for the consumers to scan the QR, whenever they're going to scan the QR code, what will they be seeing? This is just a prototype. It's not finished. It's a prototype, but it is pretty much complete. We have already written smart contracts. So for the consumers, there's going to be a portal to see what they're going to see after scanning the QR code. There's going to be a portal for farmers, the collectors. It's going to be a portal for lab test, for labs to put in their reports, the lab test. And there's going to be a portal for admin to control all of this stuff. So in total, there are 4 portals in the web application. The decentralized mobile application is different. This web application with 4 portals is different, and the IoT devices as well. So these 3 are what makes up the whole infrastructure, basically. So let's go. When we click on sign in, I've already opened the tabs. So to make it a bit faster. Yep. So I've already opened 4 tabs to showcase 4 different portals. So let's go ahead and put in it. Yep. So yeah, demo 1, 2, 3. Password. Yeah. Let's put it in. Yep. Let's go. Yeah. So for the processor for the lab test, this is how it's going to look like. Now, this is all working, by the way. We can put in the batch ID. These are just example for these herbs. Like let's select Brahmi, and then we can select the type, and and then update this whole data. This is just a manual way of this is a manual way of doing it. Of course, it's not going to be done this way. They can just upload the PDF, because the lab test is going to produce a PDF for the report. They can just upload the PDF. The optical character recognition using AI is just going to take the data from that particular report, and it is going to automatically put in. There is no manual workforce required. And after that, it's going to be created, and the transaction is going to be created. It will be authenticated. And after authentication, it will be pushed onto the blockchain. And after it has been pushed into the blockchain, at the final stage, when the QR code has been generated, when the person scans the QR code, when the consumer scans the QR code, the stakeholder scans the QR code, they'll be actually be able to see the lab test reports. It is going to be immutable, and that is going to create transparency. So that was for processor, the whole prototype, the whole portal. Now let's do it for admin as well. Yeah. So actually, yeah. So these are this is how it will look like for the admin. You'll be able to control different stuff, different things, and new registrations and the whole stuff, everything about the whole information about the whole web application is going to be present there. So when the farmer is the collector. Okay, so let's open that as well, so it will be easier to understand it. Yeah. So we can put in the data. It's working. Yeah, we can put in the data. Just an example, not the actual values. This is just an example. These are not the actual values. Yeah, and this is the location. This location was fetched. This is my location. It was fetched automatically by the web application. Yeah, let's see. Yep. So now whatever the information I put in, it has been recorded. As you can see, whatever the information I put in, it has gone inside of it, and it has been updated. Now what happens is that when we refresh and when we log in again on this admin page, it is going to show, in case of one product, it's going to show two products basically. And when the lab test or the processor puts in the work, it's going to show that as well. It's going to show the quality as well. It's going to show everything basically present in it. So yeah, that is so we have seen for processor. So we have seen for processor, and now let's see for the farmer as well. So how is it for the farmer? The farmer's portal. The farmer, no, not the farmer, the collector's portal. Yeah, definitely. So let's see. Of course, they don't have a need to look in this into this portal to put it in. This is a web application. They're not going to be doing it to web application, because how will they even use a website? I mean, they can use it on their phones, but we are already creating an IoT device for it, and a decentralized mobile application to be used in a mobile. So decentralized web mobile application for mobiles, and an IoT device which is going to work separately. So either of those is going to work fine. It can also be done using this web application, but of course less possibility that they are going to be doing it using the web portal. They're going to be doing it using a decentralized mobile application or the IoT device which you're going to create. So yeah, so these are the four interfaces of the prototype which we have, of the prototype which our team has created here. Yeah, so we are Orion Bits, and thank you for seeing it. Thank you all.